Hi, everybody. Welcome to all our lovely participants. Nice, Kamala. I could see your special hi. So, welcome to our Green Club and our Green Thumb Jeff, who's going to be on this platform introducing three beautiful ladies and souls, Sushila Auntie, Mala, and Uma. As we all know, indoor plants are just not for decoration. They're all there as friends for us, and they not only supply oxygen to our lungs, but also oxygen to our souls. I'm so happy that today we're going to understand how to baby these indoor plants and gain a lot of knowledge from all our beautiful panel members. So, may I ask Anju to start with a prayer, please?
Thank you, Manju. तेरा मंगल तेरा मंगल तेरा मंगल होए रे सबका मंगल सबका मंगल सबका मंगल होए रे जिस गुरुदेव ने धर्म दिया है उनका मंगल होए रे जिस जननी ने जन्म दिया है उसका मंगल होए रे पाला पोसा और बढ़ाया उस पिता का मंगल होए रे इस जग के सब दुखियारे प्राणी का मंगल होए रे जल में स्थल में और गगन में सबका मंगल होए रे अंतर मन की गांठें टूटे अंतर निर्मल होए रे राग द्वेष और मोह मिट जाए शील समाधि होए रे शुद्ध धर्म धरती पर जागे पाप पराजित होए रे इस धरती के तरतिन में कन कन में धर्म समोए रे शुद्ध धर्म जन जन में जागे घर घर शांति समोए रे तेरा मंगल मेरा मंगल सबका मंगल होए रे Preeti, over to you.
Thank you, Anju. So let's get right into it. I'd like to call upon Jeff. Please step in and take it away on the panel discussion.
Super. Good evening to all of you, and welcome to a very special session. It's going to be only a talking session, so we're going to make it as crisp as possible on how to grow indoor plants. So we are going to be very inclusive. We are trying to touch all the things that we need to know, and with our fantastic panel that we have, I'm sure it's going to be awesome. We have on our panel, we have Uma. Uma is a very interesting personality whose interests span from the smallest flowers like portulacas to the biggest papayas I've ever seen. She goes from vegetable, fruit, and she goes to flowers. Now, portulaca are those small little flowers we also call table roses. It's one of those varieties. And she has something like more than 70 colors, 70 varieties. It's going to be awesome to see it one day, Uma. I hope we are able to see it one day. And she started gardening from 1990. She started growing veggies in 2012, and she started her terrace garden in 2014. So I think it's a very, very mature sort of a gardener she is. And very interesting, the pictures that she sent us on the private group, my God, it was just amazing. I'm talking about the quality of the veggies and the quality of the flowers. Oh my God, those brilliant colors of portulaca, I've never seen. So I hope she joins the Green Club so that she can share her love with us, and we can learn more from a person like Uma. So Uma is there. We also have Sushila. Okay, Sushila is part of our Green Club. Not a stranger to us, but there are so many things that Sushila is up to and we don't even know. Okay, having a chat with her, she said that she has been a part of the Bodhi Bonsai Association for 40 years. Can you believe it? Yeah, that's amazing. And a part of she has been the president also. And she says, dedication, hard work, and commitment to nature is the source of her inspiration. How beautifully said. And when you're talking about bonsai, you know, bonsai needs so much of dedication and so much of hard work, as she says, because you just can't manure it and let it go. After some time, you have to prune the top, you have to prune the roots, you have to repot, and oh, it's amazing. And also commitment. Now, commitment is whatever we are and however we love to have our gardens look, we have to be committed with the anatomy of the plant, the anatomy of the tree. We cannot change that. Though we prune the bonsai and make it look some way what we want to, it will grow the way it has to. So I think we are committed to that. And so beautifully put, Sushila, that was such an awakening this afternoon when I spoke to you. You spoke about that word commitment and dedication. I'm amazed. And yeah, the third person is none other than Mala, who shocks us every morning with her stunning plants and flowers and veggies. And where is she? There she is. Okay. Yeah, Mala. So a little about her, a plant and tree lover who has a wide range of them. Mala has been collecting orchids for the past 20 years. So if you guys thought that I was the orchid man before Mala came in, I'm nothing at all compared to her, as you see on the group. And she says, I hardly have place to walk in my garden. You know, that is an ardent collector. You don't bother how your garden really looks, well pruned, this, that. No. It's just having them and having them the way they like to be in our garden. So that I thought was really amazing. And believe me, on 5 grounds, she has plants. So must be the Chennai Garden of Eden. A secret about Mala, I need to tell you the secret, okay? She travels a lot. And when she travels, she has a box separately to rob plants and bring it back. Okay, Mala? Yeah, she travels with a separate box, and that box she brings home plants. She imports them and she gets them with her. So this is the panel that we are talking about. I am so humbled and I am so overjoyed to be part of this, and I'm really in awe and respect with all three of you, such wonderful people. And for you to come out this evening and share this time with us. It's amazing. Okay, right. Let's get on. Now, I just want to let you know, people who are watching, right, participants, just one small request. I'm moderating for the first time, so I'd like you to help me out. I can see lots and lots of messages coming up, which I'm not really used to. I'm usually the show guy who does the thing, and Preeti organizes the rest of it. This time on the other end, I'm on the other end. So we are going to talk to one panelist at a time on one particular topic. And when that topic is going, you can send in your questions only regarding that topic. Okay? Let's keep our hellos and highs and byes for later, please. Please, I humbly request you. So let's be sending messages only regarding that topic. So after they finish their talk, we will answer the questions about or doubts, clearing the doubts about that particular topic. Are we okay? It has to be quick because we have 6 topics to go. So to kick off, we have our first panelist, that is Uma. Yeah, we're going to talk about Uma. And what are we going to talk about? Watering. Yeah, how do you water your indoor plants? Yeah, what type of plants can we grow indoor? You can bring in whatever you want. It depends on the space and the other things that we're going to talk about. So first we're talking about watering, how we water, how often you water, which part of the day you water, do you need to water every day? So here we go, Uma. Welcome once again, and let's kick off with Uma. 1 minute. I think you're muted. Can we have Uma unmuted, please? Preeti, are you there?
Yes, Kiran, can you unmute Jayaraman, please? She's under the name of Jayaraman. I've asked her to unmute. Uma, can you just click on the button on the right hand, upper right hand?
Yes.
Hear me?
Yes.
Growing so many indoor plants like zingonium varieties, money plants, pothos, and spider plant. So many are there. If you have only balcony space, we can many plants. During the watering, actually, we will water only limited water, never overflow, because we are growing in a container. We never allowed to because the energy of soil and all will go out. Only watering, letting the soil is enough. Letting the soil water is enough. If you not watering every morning, only that every morning you can see water. One day morning and one day don't like that. Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, very clear. Yes, thank you.
Never over watering. It damages roots also. One more thing.
Yeah. How many times a week do we water indoor plants?
Only one time is enough because there is no sunlight. Sunlight is more than only the leaves and fruits are getting dried. So no need to water twice a day at all. Just one day is enough. Just to touch the soil. If it is wet, never water. If it is dry, you can water because it depending upon the climate, depending upon the sunlight, balcony you can get some. Never get sunlight. For that you can water alternate day also. It all depending upon the place where you keep your plants. What about the climate? Generally, I'm talking about Chennai climate. Chennai generally hot climate. Watering. So because of this only can little water.
Super. Anytime you can water, or any part of the day, or only in the morning, only in the evening. How is it, Uma?
Evening. Only twice. Never put water during the sunlight and all. Just you put every day morning or every day evening. You just keep a practice every day morning or every day evening. Sometimes you can water alternate day also. For example, rainy day, winter day, you can watering only alternate day also. Yes, you can water every day because it needs lot of water. Yes.
Yeah, so as Uma was saying, I also do the same thing. Now I have stones in this because I have a lot of rats digging up the roots. So this is the plant. So what I do is, as Uma says, you just have to put your finger inside about 2 centimeters in. And when you take it out, if it's this way, then it does not need water, right? Because it's still soggy. But when you put it in and it comes out clean, then you're talking about the plant which needs water. Am I right, Uma?
Yes, sure. Yes.
So
Never, because it damages the roots also. It also becoming dry sometimes. Over sunlight is also becoming dry and over watering also becoming dry. So never do over watering. Never allow to overflow because 2 reasons. One is the floral method. The other one is energy all will go out with water. So never overflow water, especially for the container growing plants. Because most of the indoor plants, they're all growing in the containers.
Yeah, that's right, Dr. Pritika. I think Uma's talking about either morning or either in the evening. It's like you cannot water your plant on Monday, you can't water it in the morning, and on Tuesday, you can't do it in the evening. That's what she's trying to say. Always one day, like you have breakfast, and if you're going to have one meal a day, you're waiting for that meal, right? Which is going to happen in the morning. And then you skip your meal in the morning. Oh my God, what's happening? There's a shock to the plant and the roots go in a sort of a tizzy. So they wonder what's happening. So always, yes, once a day and fix your time. How much do you water? Uma told us, don't overwater. It should not come over the brim. it should stay within the pot. Solunga Uma.
For example, this is spider plant. I just keep this plant just half a tumbler, half a cup of water is enough for a day. Half a cup or half. Yeah.
Correct. Lovely.
And just this is the I said if you over watering or over sun the leaf and dry. So you wanted to show that I keep this.
Yeah, the leaves get brown. The tip of the leaves will get brown if you overwater Syngonium. Yes, yes.
Yes, over sun and over watering happen like this. So never do over watering. Limited water is enough, especially for the indoor plants, especially for the plants growing in a container. This is Syngonium. You can all grow in the inside the house. This is the
Okay, another thing I wanted to ask Uma and of course the other panel when I come to them. When we talk about indoor plants, can we permanently keep a pot inside with a plant permanently inside? When we talk about indoor plants, permanent indoor plants, we're not talking about taking it out and bringing it in. Can we do that? Can we keep a plant permanently inside, Uma?
Yes, I can keep any plants inside, but only the plant outside, the climate storm will plants. So we can avoid that. Sometimes the rainwater has a lot of minerals and all. So that what I do just plants at the time of rain. So I keep all the plants shower just if you keep in the sun. Otherwise you can grow in the sunshade. I always keep the same these plants, I kept so many for more than 5 years, the same container, the same place. Just same place. I never changed it. But it is, I started growing my out, no like just started, this is puppy plant, just started growing. So never change it, all depending upon the plants and growth. But never give climate shock to plant.
Yeah. Uma, there's a question come up. Should we water until it flows out of the drainage hole?
Until what? Pardon?
The water should not come out through the drainage hole. Should we water till, should we pour water till the water comes out from the drainage hole is the question.
That's what
Which means it's filling.
Just watering only when never allowed to overflow through the drainage hole. So you always put limited water because indoor plants need not more watering. You just wetting the soil. That is enough. Wetting the soil is enough. But not only indoor plants, even if you grow in terrace, growing means you can just wetting the soil. That will be enough. Never overflow water.
Super. That's good. It's good for Chennai also. We are not wasting water. So that's really good. Yeah, one day in, one day out. Is it like this for indoor plants is the question.
Yes, no problem. It will serve it also with the water because it can. Another thing, when we talk about the potting soil, that point will, I will say, because no problem for even 4 days also not watering. But 1 week, 10 days, no, that is also some alternative method is also there. Just you put 1 liter water bottle and just keep it on the plant, it's drop it, water is coming. And
Yes. Yes.
no problem.
Sorry, yeah, a different sort of an irrigation. Yeah, we do that when we travel, when we go on holidays. Yeah, so that that should fix, I think, everyone's ideas. Very clearly, if you were not able to hear Uma because someone says that it's slightly distorted, water up to the brim, don't let it overflow. And you can keep your plant in for 3 to 4 days at a time. You need not take it out every day. And what I would suggest is, Uma, that you have 3 pots in for 3 days or 4 days. And then you take those 3 pots outside and bring in a fresh set of 3 or 4 pots to replace them. So that way you have plants permanently in your house, but inside, but not the same plants. You can change your plants. Fantastic. Is there anything else that happens to be coming up for Uma. I think we've covered watering.
Leaf.
Do leaves
Preeti?
do leaves turn yellow due to the sun? This was a question.
Yeah, that's what she said. If you overwater or if there is too much of light, your leaves turn yellow and your leaf tips also get brown. That's what Uma said. Okay. Can it be in a closed container or should it have a hole at the end of the pot? There has to be drainage. There has to be drainage. But if you're growing it in a ceramic pot which doesn't have a hole, then you have to change your soil. Your soil will have to be very, very, very different. See, that is a ceramic one she's showing. Show us that, Uma. Perfect. Does it have a hole, Uma?
Actually, I put the plant in the plastic pot. See, plastic pot. I keep the plastic pot with the ceramic containers. Suppose extra, so for example, plant already wet, they started pouring water. No, it just excess water in the ceramic pot, just dripping. No, with the ceramic pot itself. Only the ceramic pot also having the hole. Never block this hole because if excess watering, no, it will go. But never do excess watering. That is my.
Super. Can we have plants in the bedroom, Uma?
Actually, I kept the sansevieria, the snake plant we usually colloquially call snake plant or mother-in-law's plant. That is herbal, that oxygen-rich plant. We can keep always in the bedroom, but for actually, I am planning to go out. So I removed all plants, just keep outside because nobody is coming inside. No, that's why I kept in months together. I am away from home. That's why I plan to keep all plants outside. Outside means shade only. I keep near garage and all. Shade only I keep. I always tell him if you start growing in the shade, you just outside also keep the plants in the shade. No, never give climate shock. I always tell him no climate shock, no overwatering. No, exposed sunlight is not, that is the main thing you can keep. If I grow in the inside house, indoor plants, I can keep outside also only shaded place only.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Uma, for being so patient and answering all the questions. We're going to wrap up that first segment about watering, right? Going on to Sushila, our next participant, panelist. Yeah. She is the bonsai specialist, as you remember. And Sushila is going to talk about temperature and humidity. Now, temperature is very important. We see beautiful plants growing in homes abroad. And when we try, it doesn't happen in Chennai, especially, yeah, the tropical countries. So what is the temperature we are looking at? And what about the humidity? How do we maintain humidity? Do we or do we not? Sushila, over to you. You're muted. Can you unmute yourself, please? Lovely.
Yeah. See, let me start. You know, this concept of indoor plants, I will say it's a selfish nature of the human beings, like caged birds and some of the other things. All plants, I'm a plant lover, all plants are meant to be outside. But then, of course, we can bring them in, yes. So, actually, they belong to the outside rooms. But then we can bring them inside with, like Uma said, you know, with little modifications and adjustments. Yes. About the temperature, okay. Usually the temperature inside any room is about 70 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit. That is ideal for any plant. You just asked why indoor plants thrive very well in foreign countries, whereas it is not coming up that well in India. India, the outside temperature is much higher. And the plants that we choose to keep inside are all Indian origin, and they are all from our tropical segment of the globe. So they need a little more temperature. So what I'm trying to say is, if you are going to keep your plant permanently or maybe for 10 days inside an AC room where the temperature is much lower, definitely the plant is going to suffer. Okay. So the best alternative, okay, you have to be in the AC room, then, and you have to have your indoor plant inside. What you have to do is, You have to take your plants 3-4 days inside and take them outside. Humidity value doesn't matter that much because plants are used to humid, non-humid conditions. So that factor doesn't affect them that much. But lighting, temperature affects them a lot. Like somebody asked why the leaves turn yellow, leaves turn brown. Those are all the leaves reaction to the lack of sunlight or more sunlight. So, suppose you keep the potted plant inside for 3-4 days and take it outside. Like Uma said, don't give it a shock. Don't go and keep it inside under a bright sun. The plant will definitely go into a shock. That is also a living thing, but it operates in a totally different plane. Like us, they have, and I do believe that they have feelings, and I do believe that trees communicate between themselves. These sort of things, yes, it happens, but the science hasn't progressed that much to learn about all these things. Plants are your best friends, and if you are, like people say green fingers. Why do you say? Oh, they say, oh, you have green fingers. What is the meaning of green fingers? I have discovered that the person with green fingers is a person with a lot of positive energy and feelings for your plants. You feel for your plant. If even if it's a small money plant sitting inside and wilting, you feel for it. I must take it outside. It is suffering. So that sort of a rapport, that sort of an emotion in your mind will go a long way in making your garden green, your indoor garden green. So that is that your affection, your longing, and your equation with your plants go a long way. So when that is right, you know where to keep it, when to take it out, and all these things will come automatically to you, because human beings are tuned to get all these vibes from nature automatically. Okay.
Excellent. So well said. Anything about humidity?
Humidity, too much of humidity is not good, because the plants have to breathe. There are two sorts of, like yesterday I said, there is something called respiration, there is something called photosynthesis. These two processes help the plant to live and to make its own food. If it doesn't do photosynthesis, like closing your kitchen permanently and sitting inside the living room, what happens? It's like that. So it has to undergo photosynthesis. For photosynthesis, it has to have air and sunlight. Then only it can absorb oxygen from the air and carbon dioxide from the air, and with the carbon dioxide, some of the chemicals in the plant, it can make the food. And respiration, what is respiration? It absorbs, again absorbs carbon dioxide and leaves out oxygen. So that's why some of the plants like Sansevieria, mother-in-law's tongue, they absorb lot of carbon dioxide and releases lot of oxygen into the air. So to keep Sansevieria or the mother-in-law's tongue inside the bedroom or wherever, it's very, very beneficial. Only thing, please don't make the plants suffer. I'll show you the mother-in-law's tongue. There are 2-3 varieties, short-lived ones. This is Sansevieria.
Yes.
There are two varieties here. Yeah, see. So this gives out lot of oxygen, and also it can absorb some of the noxious fumes from the air.
Yes, toxins.
Toxins from the air, like formaldehyde, benzene. Sometimes, these sort of gaseous things are produced inside the room when you smoke or when you spray. All these chemicals are also gets into the air. So this particular plant has got the tendency or has got the capacity to absorb all those things. It will absorb, and it for its own benefit, it's making its own food. So it's always better to keep these sort of plants inside the bedroom or your study
somebody
table.
was asking if we can keep plants in the bedroom. I think snake plant is really good. Because it's easy to grow indoors in the first place. So you need not carry it out and bring it in very often. It's not giving you too much of trouble. Okay. And it absorbs carbon dioxide at night. It is very good against allergies, I heard. For any allergic reaction, it's very good. And so mother-in-law's tongue is very good.
Good. Yeah, even though it got that term. But sometimes mother-in-law's tongue is very good also. Gone are the days when the mother-in-law's tongue was bad. Now it is all changed.
Exactly. Now you have to call it daughter-in-law's tongue. Yeah, on the lighter side, that's amazing,
Yeah.
Sushila, what you have
Yeah.
said.
Yeah. And also money
yeah, there are
plant.
some
Yeah.
money
Tell me.
plant.
Yeah, money plant is also very
Pothos,
good. That
money
also,
plant.
yeah, that also is very good. And you can keep a combination of money plant and this spider plant. That also is very good.
Yeah.
So when
Spiders
you
are
keep,
very good,
yeah,
yes.
yesterday, I was mentioning about the aesthetic value of keeping plants inside. So anyway, you are decided to keep plants inside. Why did you make it more beautiful? So how do you make it more beautiful? By adopting a very nice pot, and also you can make combination of plants where, the leaf structure, leaf size, everything will, complement each other.
Match, yes. That's amazing. I
Yeah.
went through Reader's Digest and got some lovely information that the money plant, which is also called pothos,
Pothos.
it's earned high marks by NASA for
Yeah.
clearing the air of benzene, formaldehyd, toluene, carbon monoxide, and xylene, meaning it's beautiful. The ordinary
Yes.
money plant, it's absorbing so many toxins from the air.
Yes. Yes.
And it grows so beautifully. Like my wife has quite a few in bottles in the kitchen here, there, and everywhere,
Yeah.
on every counter, and it just grows
Yeah.
so easily. So I think that
And-
can be done.
And another amazing fact about this pothos or money plant, now there are 2-3 other varieties also. Inside the house, if you want to keep it, you keep it. It doesn't need soil. It can grow in water also. Only thing, the leaf size will become small. So what I have done is, the green bottles, what my husband's beer bottles, I clean it up, fill it up with water, and in a row in my kitchen window, I kept it in a row with the money plant growing outside. So the bottle color as well as the color combination of the money plant, they complement each other and it looks very beautiful.
Correct. I made a mistake once. I had a vodka bottle which looks really good. It's very
Okay.
transparent and it's bubbly. So
Yeah.
I didn't clean it properly and I just put in money plant. And for 2 days it was like, hanging around.
Yeah.
But after I diluted it more, it did well. That's only
Yeah.
a joke on the lighter
Yeah.
side.
Yeah.
Okay, someone says, can we have something in the bathroom, right? And it says, Jeff, that was for you. Okay, yes, I do have plants on my bathroom windowsill.
You can, yeah, you
And,
can, yes.
Yeah, they are succulents. They really
Yeah.
do well because of the
Yes.
humidity that you get in the bathroom.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
And
so,
watering is very easy. You can test for the water content and then you can pour the water as and when it requires.
Yeah, fantastic. Another point I thought I'll just share before we skip to the next. It's about condensation that happens on the leaves of the plants. Now, that's not good for the plant. It's not able to absorb whatever it has to from the leaf area. So
Yeah.
if you've got a plant inside and if you find a bit of condensation happening on the leaves, you can keep it close to a fan or you can put a fan close by,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
sort of
yeah,
circulates and evaporates. And it's really
Yeah.
good even to keep the leaves clean without any dust, right?
So the
And-
condensation happens when the temperature goes down.
Correct. Yeah.
So
and also
yeah.
air plants. Air
Yeah.
plants also, they take a lot of energy from
Energy, yeah.
the air, and you need to only spray them.
Spray them, yes.
Yeah, areca palms. I want to know about areca palms. Yes. What do you have to say about areca palms, Sushila?
Those plants also are very good absorbers of all these noxious fumes. They prevent all skin diseases and all that, and they can also thrive very well for maybe 10 days, 12 days, then keep it outside. Like I said, always if you have a balcony and if you are living in an apartment, keep 10 or 15 pots, 5 inside, 10 outside. Another 5
Yeah.
comes in. So that way, you keep on exchanging 10 days. Okay. All the plants
Yes.
will be in healthy state. Don't keep your plant somewhere and forget about it. That is
Yeah.
when the mistake happens. So you have to have your commitment. Like I said, the commitment and respect for your plant. Your plant will thrive.
Perfect. Lovely. What I've noticed is when you keep any plant in the house for a very long time, you see the plant getting a bit weak. It will look weak, and also the leaves get a bit smaller, or the leaves get further away from each other. Like when you have pothos, which is your money plant. Your money plant looks really full. I don't have a money plant. Okay, I think I have this. Now this has been out, right?
Yeah.
And it's really lush. But when it
Yes.
comes inside, it gets a little lesser, the leaves decrease, yeah, because of so many reasons. So
Yeah.
when that happens, you move the plant outside, keep it for
Yes.
some time, and then put in some other plant. So
Yeah.
you can circulate your plants and always have
Yeah.
beautiful.
You know, you know the reason why it is happening. It is happening because, you know, it's producing less and less food.
That's it.
Ah,
That's it.
so it is not getting the real nourishment that it needs. So the leaf
Like when the
is,
kitchen, like when the kitchen is closed, we are all dry and
yeah, yeah, the kitchen is closed and there is no Swiggy or any of those things, you know, that is,
excellent,
lose
excellent,
weight.
Sushila. So let's end on that note. That keep your kitchen open, not only for
Yeah.
yourself, but also for your plants, and you're going to have something healthy around you all the time. Lovely. Thank you
Yes.
so much, Sushila. I'm
Okay.
getting back to you on the next point. Coming to Mala, yes, our favorite colorful gardener who always has so much to offer, from orchids to everything happening. Okay. Now, Mala is going to talk about light. Okay. Now, how much of light is required for plants when you bring them indoors? Is light required at all? What is the light that's required? We are talking about direct light and indirect light. Direct light is something where the sun's rays hit the plant directly. Indirect light is when the reflection of the sun is hitting the plant. It's not the direct rays, okay? So that clarity is there with direct and indirect. So open the chat to Mala and we can have any questions coming in about light, where to place your plants, okay? Thank you so much. Take it on, Mala.
See, it's very easy to determine your light outside in the garden. You can see where the sun is falling, where the shade is there. But when you're bringing your house plant in, it's a total ball game altogether. You have to see where the light in your house is. Basically, there are 3 types of light in an interior of a house. You have this very bright light coming in from maybe from the western side of the window, where you get 4 to 5 hours of bright sunlight. And in those places, you can have your trees, you can have your palms, you can have your big plants that require a lot of light. But there is the indirect light. Maybe you have a curtain on that, or it is a reflected light from some surface, or it is some leaves are there just outside the window. That is called the indirect light. In that type of a light, maybe you will have to provide an extra bulb or something for the plant to grow, but that's the indirect light. And then the third light is the low light. Supposing you have a room and you want to put your house plant in, you can't sit and read a newspaper in that room. That's called a low light. Okay, that is, most plants require light. That's a basic principle for any plant life. Without light, you don't survive. And you can't, naturally without light, there's no photosynthesis, the plant will die. So it is a basic principle that you provide the light. So that's why what I do with my house plants is I recycle them by bringing them in for some time, putting them out. And when they are not very comfortable, I take them out. And also when they are in, I see that which place they are comfortable in. Supposing it is a plant that requires bright light, like, oh, I'm losing you. Supposing it's like a croton. A croton requires a lot of light, at least 4 to 5 hours of bright light. So if you're going to bring a croton into your house room, then see that you have a brightly lit place at 4 to 5 hours of sunlight. But there are plants which will grow very well in low light, like your pothos, or maybe your spider plant, maybe your sansevieria. All those plants, they don't mind. Even a very low light is fine. They will survive. Maybe they'll not be lush and green,
Your Chinese
but they will
evergreen,
survive.
your dumkins, all of them.
Dumkins and all, they do very ferns, dumkins, marantas, calatheas, all those require indirect light. They are very happy with indirect light. Okay, so that is the more you learn about your plant, you will know which is, bring the plant home, bring it inside your home, keep it in a place, see if it's happy. If it's not, please move it. That is the principle I follow.
There's a question about peace lily. How much of light does a peace lily need?
Peace lily requires a low light. Also, it does well, but it is very happy. Most plants require a brighter light. But the one thing you should be careful about the bright lights is if you keep it with the reflection of the glass pane. In a place like Chennai, when the light hits the glass pane, it will scorch your leaves. So don't please keep your plants against your window. Keep it a little away from the window. And then if you have a sheer curtain, maybe you could put that and maybe cut down the light a little bit. That way you save your plant. So basically, you remember where you're keeping your plant and see the plant. If it's happy and if you're study the plant. If it doesn't look happy, please move it. There's always another place in the home for it.
Lovely.
And also, if you feel the light is not enough, you should provide more light. Then you can use bulbs, the tube lights, whatever. Most plants, you might think that it's a shady plant that is growing out like a fern, or maybe a plant that calathea, which is very happy in the shaded place. But a shady plant also will not find the light inside a home sufficient. You will have to supplement it with extra lighting.
Yes. See, we are so used to dim lighting. I don't think any of our houses are very, very brightly lit or anything like that to look like a studio. But the studio lighting is what is necessary for a plant, because you're trying to substitute sunlight, guys. Please be practical. Yeah, please be practical. And as Sushila said, trees and plants are supposed to be outdoors. We are selfish and we want to bring them in. So, so we need to make them comfortable inside. Just understand, we need to recreate the exteriors, interior. That's all. If you just think of that, everything will be fine. Like somebody was talking about peace lilies, and can we bring it in? Yes, you can bring it in, but you're not going to have flowers. Flowers, it will positively not flower inside. If it has a flower outside, you can bring it in with a flower, but otherwise, I don't think so. They are wanting some names of plants that you can bring in and keep in a bit longer than the others.
Like what kind of lighting would they be having? Will it
Just
be a
say, for
low-lit
example,
room?
I have a brightly lit house with windows on all sides. So what type of plants can we bring in?
So if you have a brightly lit window with about 4 to 5 hours of bright light, like the place I'm sitting in that case, you can have all the plants. Okay, you can have aloe veras, you can have your jade plants, you can have your euphorbias, your snake plant, your papyrus. That grows very well in this brightly lit plant. You can have your ponytail plants. You can have even hibiscus and jasmine if you have that type of a light. Okay,
Correct.
Flowering plants. So
yeah, your philodendrons and calatheas and all that. Now, just to sum up what we started off. Sorry?
Calatheas will require indirect light.
Indirect light, yes. Now, what we started off saying, I don't know if everyone was in when we started, we said that in Chennai, we cannot keep plants permanently inside. It does not happen. Finally, you're going to lose your plant, and I hate that. You know, being selfish and taking a life, that's not on, okay? So we have to think of moving pots inside for 3 or 4 days and taking it out for the next 3 or 4 days. So I would specifically say that you can have 3 sets of plants, so that you bring in 1 set. After 3 days, you bring in the other set while this set is sunning. And then the 3rd set comes in while the 2nd set and the 3rd set is, while the 1st and 2nd set is sunning. So it makes a lot of sense if you're going to rotate. And about artificial lighting, yes, if you want, then you'll have to use the fluorescent lighting that Mala was talking to me about in the morning. The very, very bright lights. And like I don't know if any, yes.
Bulb the best.
Yeah. So that won't be really comfortable for us as well, unless you have focus lights permanently on your plant, which is in the corner or something like that. What happened was I have...
The idea
sorry, Mala?
No, just a focus light on the plant is just going to make the plant all hot and heat up, okay? So don't do that. Make it evenly thrown, the light.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about our lights that we have in the ceiling, in the false ceiling. They can be moved here and there. A focus light right up to the plant is going to burn the plant. Yeah, that's going to burn the plant. But yeah, so basically, we are talking about recreating exterior, interior, and that's about it. And as soon as you see signals coming up from your plants, the signals are the browning of the tips, the yellowing of the leaves curling up, the leaves bending down and not looking up to you with all its joy. When you see things happening now, those are signals that we have to pick up, and we have to be really sensitive, like we look after, take care of our children. What do you say, Mala, on a closing note?
Yeah. So, and also I wanted to tell you that you are think it's very nice to bring a sansevieria or a pothos inside your garden, to your home. But remember, they are toxic to animals.
Yes. Your dumb
Yes.
canes are very toxic. You have to be careful with your toddlers and your doggies or cats. Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
come to that a little later.
Doggies.
That is the unsafe plants, plants that are not safe to bring inside. Yeah, we'll talk about that a little later. Thanks for reminding me on that, Mala.
Yeah.
Your closing note on this point, Mala?
Yeah. Yeah, so just watch the plant, take it inside. You're most welcome to take a plant in and keep it in, but really look after it and see that it is comfortable. If it is not, please take it right back outside.
Super. Thank you. Thank you so much. Mala, just stay with us. I'll get back to you. Coming back to Uma, on her second section, she's going to talk to us about potting soil. Now, this is so very important. Now, this is like the kitchen, which Sushila was talking about. Your soil is your growing medium, which is going to give the plant all the energy, which is going to feed the plant with all the nutrition. And we have to be plant specific when it comes to soil. We just can't use one soil for all the plants. So Uma is going to be the right one to talk to us about potting soil. Over to you, Uma.
Yes, regarding potting soil, I am telling about only for indoor plants. Because for indoor plants, we can add some water content minerals and all we can add. 1:1:1, vermicompost and cocopeat and perlite. This 3 is equal, just little red soil. And apart from this, we can add some biofertilizers like Trichoderma, Pseudomonas, Phosphobacteria, and Azospirillum. All the 4 are just...
It all went over my head. It all went over my head. Okay, you must tell us this later. You send it in a message about all that you said, because I'd like our members to be aware of all that. Okay, later. Don't worry, members. We'll just listen for now. Uma will get back to us with all that. It just went off over my head.
And the fungal biofertilizers we can add to avoid fungal infection of the plants. It will to all plants, whether it is indoor plants or vegetable plants, for all. That's why I added it. Basically, the 3 things: perlite, vermicompost, and cocopeat. Cocopeat usually we'll get in the market the block. We can get the block and soak it in the water. Then it is expanded. Then we can mix with other minerals and other soil, little bit soil. But basic 1:1:1. Vermicompost, perlite, and these 3.
Cocopeat. No soil at all.
Red
No
soil,
soil at all.
only very little. Only red soil very little. I'm telling only for indoor plants. Indoor plants. Because that perlite, why we added now, it contains a lot of silicon dioxide, aluminum oxide, sodium oxide, potassium oxide, iron oxide, magnesium oxide, calcium oxide, all in perlite. So we can add the perlite. Regarding the watering point, perlites contain lot of water inside. That's why I told when I talk about the watering, the perlite also big role. Perlite and cocopeat, these 2 contain the water. So if you add this perlite in your potting soil, watering will be once in alternate day or once in 2 days also. It all depending upon the potting soil. Never add red soil more, because the roots and all.
It gets hard.
So we never add more red soil. If perlite is not there, now you can add a little bit soil, that is soil is set up, garden soil is set. We can add because or sand, because it loosened. That's why perlite is all places available. It is organic only. I never refer or tell about the inorganic materials, whether it is or indoor plant or fruit plant. If we come to the gardening, entire garden organic only. We never mix up inorganic materials. Other
Fantastic. See what Uma is saying is very intelligent. I think we need to take care of this. She says vermicompost. Now vermicompost has all the minerals and nutrition in the vermicompost. The other 2 she's talking about, cocopeat and perlite. Cocopeat is a water retainer, perlite is a water retainer. So when you use this mix, you don't have to water every day or water every 2 days. Correct, Uma? Is that right?
Sure, sure. Perlite and cocopeat is water retaining. So we can mix water. When we add the perlite in potting soil, depends upon the potting soil, we will do watering also.
See, these are the small tips that we are looking at, and I'm so happy that we have such intelligent, intellectual people on the panel. Thank you so much, Uma. You must join the club, Uma. Green Club. We are greenies. You're wearing blue today. I'm also wearing white, but for our next meeting, I'm sure you'll come in green. We are so green.
Staying only 6 months here, that is the main problem. That's why I'm not
Ah, right. Okay. You travel a lot, is it?
missing my plant a lot. Definitely.
Ah, right.
Because of that, I stay long time there. But my sons have forced me. This time I thought only 4 months I'm staying, but still they are complaining. So they again can stay. Every
Who takes care of your plants when you're not here, Uma?
or gardener comes, because watering, no, never allow all people to do watering. For example, some plants need more water, some plants need less water. So gardener only knows which plant need more water, which plant less water, which plant alternate day, which plant every day, which plant once in 2 days. So many classifications are there. So only gardener or that the gardening knowledge people only know how watering. So that is also a main role in gardening. So I never allow anyone, if I am here, I never allow anyone to do watering. I am only watering. It takes 2 hours, ground floor 1 hour and upstairs 1 hour. It takes 2 hours for watering.
Wow, that's a lot of time. Your family must be missing you all that time, right?
Morning I am doing watering and evening in the ground floor. Alternate days of watering. This is the
So you can,
Yes,
yeah. There's someone wanting to know if you can buy the ready-made potting mix from the nurseries. Is it good enough?
Generally, what I expect, no, every day I get only whole food, because I know what are the ingredients I added in the food and how it will good for us. The same potting mix, because I am able to do at home. My gardener is there. So with his assistant, I am giving instructions. So I am doing potting mix at home. If not possible, only you will get outside the potting mix. It is also from good seller you can get the potting mix. But generally, it is, if you have any helper or gardener, you can do potting mix at home itself. How it's good for home food for people, the same for good for plants also. I treated all my plants like this.
Correct. Yeah. No, it's excellent. It's so nice. I was talking to Mala also, and she said, I take 3 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the evening to do my watering. I said, oh my God, 5 hours a day. That's crazy. That's really crazy to spend so much of time. And see, that is your me time, right? That is when you have your connection with your plants and your garden and your trees, and you know exactly when one tree is not doing well, and immediately your first aid takes care of it. How do you handle your portulaca? Because they are so dainty.
Organically is a big challenge for me, especially for portulacas, because a lot of mealybugs will come, especially in summer. It's actually do well from till only October, November, December, only less bloom. All the other 9 months it get good bloom only. Lot of mealybugs keep on replanting it, but for this small point, if you start growing portulaca means you just plant it once in 4 months or at least minimum once in 6 months. Plant, then only it will give good bloom. But for pests and all, no, I am many homemade pesticide and all I am making at home on my own and spraying. So,
Yeah, because that portulaca, if you let it grow a little long, it gets all those white millies on it, those mealybugs, and it kills the plant. It saps out the, eats up the sap. And yes, we wish you luck, Dr. Pritika Chari. You are my favorite. I'm so happy that you are watching me. Usually we listen to you so much on stage. It's lovely to know that you have joined. Dr. Pritika Chari says that she is going to start indoor plants in 1,100 square foot apartment. Oh, lovely. That's quite a big area. Awesome, Doc. And I wish you luck, and don't worry, you can get to us for whatever. Now, Uma, you were talking about perlite. Where do you buy perlite from? Any idea?
Actually, online sellers are there, but I got it. One of my friend is selling through online, so I got it from her only. But now I am using, because I kept my plants in shaded, partial shade place only. For perlite, I'm using for the seedlings and sowing seeds and all. For that only.
Yes. Yes. Because if anyone wants to know about perlite, I have a supplier right in the heart of the city, just by Fountain Plaza. So perlite is very important, and it's really, really good. As Uma says, she uses it for seedlings. It's really, really good because it's separated. It's very loose and it allows rooting very fast. Thank you so much, Uma. That was really interesting. Would you have anything more to say?
See, I want more plants, money plants, photos. This is photos. I can water. Once in a day, I can change the water. Once in a week, I change the water.
That's growing in water. Amazing. Amazing. Yeah.
Change the water because I like more plants around me, but this is very easy to handle and all. That's why I keep growing here. Money plants.
Okay, someone is talking about ginger, garlic, and green chili from their kitchen. Okay, we are going back to kitchen. Okay, 3 G's: ginger, garlic, and green chili. What do you think of that, Uma?
It's pesticide. Because generally, white it's not the original leaves smell or the flavor doesn't know that pest. That's why if he sprays some neem oil or 3G means ginger, green chili, and garlic. We can buy all the 3 and put it in a mixie and grind a paste. Keep it overnight. Next day mix with water. Then 1:10 ratio. We can spray. So the original plant leaf know the pest. That's why we can spray Jeevamritam, 3G, and neem oil. So many things for avoiding pest and all. But generally, money plants and these indoor plants, these spider plant never attacked by pest. So this is one more thing. This is philodendron. This is creeper. Into indoor. This is symbonium red.
Yeah,
So,
that's the pink ones. Yes.
you can keep it in water. You can change the water once in a week. This is also syngonium plant. This is many colors are there. 7, 8 varieties are there. So you can buy it at home. So you can see I am keeping in a plastic pot only. So I'm keeping it in a plastic pot. Not direct. Never keep direct ceramic pots because I love pots, I love plants, I love gardening. So I never miss this plant.
Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing. See, it's very important. We are going to talk about potting later, different types of pots. It's very important to think about your whole presentation. See the pot and the plant. Oh, amazing. Lovely. That looks so good. Yeah.
These
Spider.
are in all syngonium, spider plant, honey plant, pothos, philodendron, all are many varieties. In each variety, minimum 5 to 6 colors and varieties are there. You can collect all varieties into one particular.
How did you get your 70 portulaca?
How many?
How did you get your 70 varieties of portulaca?
Many portulacas are imported from Thailand, Malaysia, and US, so many countries. So if anybody is coming from outside, I always tell him to bring only cuttings, but never bring with root, because portulaca can grow with small cuttings. So every year I can get from US so many colors. That pink one is me only brought to India and selling so many people in they're from.
Your small lilies also were beautiful. The orange lilies, I have never seen that.
That is a rain lily. If rain comes, it automatically started giving buds and bloom. It's very yes. That rain lilies are all I brought from Thailand. Thailand means just I imported, not I.
How many colors? How many colors of that do you have?
20 colors I have. All in
30 colors.
20 colors.
20 colors. Oh, beautiful.
Generally, my hobby is if I started collecting, for example, this symbolic means I will collect how many colors, all colors I get it. Money plant, variety, I am trying to get maximum. I'm trying to get all colors. I never wanted to spend for plants. Same, I am sharing so many people, swapping, so many are there. So through Facebook, we can swap because some people not interested to get all plants. So some we can swap through plants like that. So many.
Yeah, Rekha, I really wish Rekha, Uma can show us the Portulaca, but not now. She will be sending it on the group later. Let her take some pictures of her Portulaca and send it on the group later.
I will show the picture. It is the one Hoya plant, which is partial shade. This is Hoya. Hoya flower. Hoya, this bloom, it's beautiful bloom. It's need only partial shade.
Amazing. Look at the bunch, the big bunch.
It's more than this.
Lovely. It's not very clear. Yeah, it's not very clear, but we'd like you to send pictures like you sent on the other group, Uma. If you can send pictures of your Portulaca. Oh, amazing. Lovely. Super.
For 2,000 rupees, 5 cuttings.
Lovely. Okay, so do you have any closing message to close off on this particular topic? Potting soil?
Potting soil.
Yeah. So it's very clear. Uma says 1:1:1, and she's given us all the 3 ingredients and also the 3G spray which has come out. I'm sure by next week we'll have a 4G. So thank you so much, Uma. Please stay with us till I go across to Sushila. She is back with the selection of a pot. Okay, I think it's most important. It's also important, not most important, it's also important for your display. And as she sent pictures on our group, she's a very interesting person. Meaning she goes a lot with nature, right? So she says you can also use a piece of bark to display. You can use a hollow trunk to be your container. So over to Sushila. I'm sure she has much more interesting stuff. Can you unmute, please? Unmute. And guys on the group, if you have anything to say about this particular topic, please send us your messages. Yeah, about potting.
Yeah. Time is running short, so let me complete this sentence. See, since this is indoor plants, and you are going to keep it on your study table or on center of your dining table or near your wash where you wash your hands, there should be some aesthetic value. What I believe is, we get to buy plants in plastic pots or in earthenware pots. It's not so nice to see them sitting on your table. So you, if you have got that aesthetic sense, you will naturally look for a beautiful pot, ceramic or something else like that. I'll come to that and shift the plant into that. So that and also you have to have a base on which you keep the plant. So the all combination would give a really beautiful look. A small base, wooden base you get wooden base with legs. I'll post the pictures tomorrow. Wooden base with legs on which your ceramic pot can sit with your beautiful plant. That will give a totally different look. And also what I usually do is I collect driftwood from the beach or from my property, the decayed old roots or hollowed out trunks. I carve it out. There is a solution called the lime sulfur mix, which you get it online. When you apply lime sulfur mix, the texture changes, the color changes, and it gives a longer life. And you can plant your favorite small xerophytes or your epiphytes, even vandas inside this. They'll thrive very well and it will give a very beautiful look. And another thing I'm doing is, in our kitchen, in our cupboards, there are quite a lot of old ceramic containers like our dishes, trays, which are chipped out or, which you don't use anymore or it is worn out. Those can be used as containers for your plants. Only thing, you have to drill a small hole. You get drills online, or else you can ask somebody to make a small drill using a small nail. And then in that you can keep your plants. It is absolutely beautiful. The jugs, the mugs, anything can be used. Your salt and pepper containers, anything can
Yes.
be used.
Yes.
Salt and pepper containers make the pair makes excellent container for a pair of epiphytes or a pair of xerophytes. So these sort of things will add beauty to your interior and also the aesthetic value. So these are the things, and also some of the metallic containers which you get. See, this is a bucket. The bucket has been
Amazing.
used.
Look at
Yeah.
that. Recycle.
Recycle small bucket. I've used
Yeah.
it for this. Yeah.
Lovely.
So
Lovely.
the thing is, you don't have to discard any of your pots. Another thing I use, I'll post the pictures later. Some of your ceramic pots, which are very expensive, and you get to buy it online, or the Chinese pots and all that. Especially those I use for bonsai and all that. They invariably they'll get some damage will happen. The dog will run off. I mean, fight and then break it. So
You're telling me.
so with a heavy heart, I used to discard them. Oh my God, it's gone. Nowadays, what I'm doing is I upcycle it. Upcycle it in the sense, whatever broken piece, I try to mix it together, or in that I create a landscape or some of the combination plants, so that it's a totally different look, and it is amazing. And I'll post the pictures tomorrow, so you don't have to feel sad that your expensive pot is broken. You don't have to feel sad your expensive dish is broken. You can make use of it again. Either you can use it inside the house or outside the house. So that is or upcycling your broken products.
Lovely. Lovely. That's such a lovely insight which Sushila shared, and I think all of us can use whatever old stuff we have. It looks amazing. Like, I don't know, I've got, look at this.
Yes.
This is an incense.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a hole or anything, so I just put a succulent, and look how dry it is.
Yeah.
You don't need to pour water. So things like this, you can really make use of. It looks amazing. It looks artistic, and it's your own creation, guys.
Yes.
We are creators, right? So you can just do whatever you want. Anything goes, and it's your home. So what? Lovely, Sushila. Such a nice insight. Anything else on a closing note, Sushila?
About containers?
About containers,
containers, see, whatever you keep, even it's inside the bathroom, please make it aesthetic, so that, one look at it and you feel nice. Why people go for art? Why people go for, flowers? Because it's the beauty. We as human beings, we are attracted towards beauty in any form. So you are creating beauty in your house, in your bathroom, in your kitchen table, wherever it is. So that is something which we have to do. And that beauty, or that sense of beauty, appreciation, everything should be in you. And it is not an inborn thing. You can cultivate it in your own mind. So you don't have to use it. Some say, oh, you have got green fingers, you have got this in you. No, nothing of the sort. It is something which you imbibe and you start practicing.
Perfect. What a lovely note to end on. We accept everyone as they are, right? So nothing has to be perfect. We are not perfect. And a plant does not have to look perfect also. It's nature, it's natural. If it has to grow wonky like that, that's the plant. So you have to stick around the wonky plant as well. Lovely, Sushila. Thank you so much.
Okay.
It was
So
really fun.
I'll take my leave now.
Can you wait for another few minutes? We are finished.
Okay.
Mala, can I invite Mala on, please? Mala is going to talk about fertilizers, which is also important. What type of fertilizer? When do we fertilize? Do we need to fertilize every 6 months, every month, every 2 months? What it is according to plant. Yes, Mala, to you.
Okay, Jeff. See, when you have a plant growing indoors, there's a problem that happens is you keep pouring water. All the nutrients get leached out every time. Also, there's the pot is having only this much of nutrition in it. So if you're going to just continue with the pot like that without adding extra nutrition, your plant will suffer. So obviously you got to do something about it. There are two ways of going about it. You can go the natural way of using that. You can compost, you can use coffee powder, you can use eggshell, your tea leaves, whatever. Okay. But these are all organic matter, which when powder or tea, make a tea or a decoction or whatever, it is still not decomposed enough to be absorbed by the soil. A plant can only absorb what is decomposed matter. That is the rule of the plant. So if you're using all this, very good. It will take its own time, get decomposed and give nutrition to your soil. But it's not going to help your plant any. And the plant has only this much time and this much place. And it has to go to look good also, right? So the best thing you do is you can go for natural house plant fertilizers, which are available in the market. They come in the form of spikes or they come in granular forms. So you get some, sprinkle it on your plant, water it, and then let it show its magic. And then also there are other chemicals also available. I don't go much for chemicals, but then when there is a desperate need of a plant that is going to die otherwise, then chemicals are a choice also. I leave it to you. You can take a choice between a chemical fertilizer or a natural fertilizer. You can be eco-friendly and safe and help the environment and go for the natural, but only thing, it takes time. So if you prepare well, look after your plant well, you need not go for the chemical way and look after your plant well. So
Lovely.
that's the shortest part of it. But see, there are plenty of things you can do is you can start your own composting. I would love everybody to start their own composting. It doesn't take much. It just requires an old bucket. Put all your kitchen waste in it, okay? Add a layer of sand or soil to it, okay? Keep stirring it every 15 days and you will have black gold at the end of it. Nothing like it for your plants. Only thing, so fertilize it after using it, decompose it nicely. You can even sift it. I have a sift for it. And then you use it in your plant. It is really black magic. It will work like crazy for you. All these things are really, really good fertilizers. But it's up to you to take your pick and decide what you want for your plant. But fertilization is a must.
Mala, when you're
According to-
composting, Mala, when you're doing, when you're composting, Mala, is it okay to put citric fruit also with it, like limes and oranges, or you
No.
refrain from that?
No citric and no seeds also.
No citric and no seeds.
No seeds.
Okay.
No, you don't put seeds. Suppose you're cutting a pumpkin. Okay, you're cutting the pumpkin. You take the pulp, you can put it in. You can put the skin, but not the seeds.
Okay.
It's really going to add to the confusion because they sprout.
Right.
Okay,
Yes,
so
yes.
avoid that. And then you can, what I do is I dig huge pits in my garden, okay, to a depth of about 4 feet. And then I add a layer of jaggery to it. And then I add a layer of manure. Even wet will do, not a problem. And then I keep adding all the garden soil to it, all the leaf mold, everything goes into it till the pit is full. And then I cover it up, leave it for 6 months. And then when I dig it up, I have proper compost.
Okay,
That
they
is
get
what I use
worms.
for my garden.
Shelby says, I always get worms whenever I try composting. Any suggestions?
Worms are good. Earthworms are really good. People are doing vermicomposting, Jeff.
Yeah, that is actually
So,
vermicomposting.
the more the worms, the here
Yeah.
you go.
Correct.
Pardon?
No, that's right. That is
Yeah.
vermicompost. No,
So-
you want the worms to come in. Oh, you're talking about maggots. She's talking about maggots, not worms.
No maggots, please. No maggots. So that's the reason you got maggots is your composition is not dry. Okay. You must have put a lot of liquid in it and it hasn't dried up properly. See, supposing you're going to put wet vegetables, it will not require too much time. Get it, add out, and then put it in. And don't
Yes.
put dry waste and waste together. Supposing you're going to dump your gravy, your leftover gravy, your sambar, and all your stuff along with your veggies, it is going to be a mess.
Oh my God, I
If
can
you want, you
imagine
can keep
that
two separate-
compost. The kitchen
So,
will be
if
closed.
you're going to do that, you keep 2 separate pots for that if you're going to do that. Okay.
So you
And
say
then also
no
you will-
cooked food, no cooked
No-
food.
No
It's only
cooked
the
food.
skins and the pulp of whatever,
Whatever. You
vegetables
can,
and fruit.
yeah,
Yeah.
any other way. See, all your garden waste, your branches, your leaves, everything can go in. Okay. You can use manure, you can use jaggery, all that works like a charm, but no cooked food, please.
What about jaggery?
Jaggery is really good. It decomposes very fast. Whatever
decomposes very fast.
you put,
Yes.
see, I keep adding a layer of jaggery.
Okay.
And
Super.
also cow urine helps. But
Which one?
if you're squeamish about it, avoid it. Okay, each person. If you're squeamish about adding cow urine, you can leave it. But it is a very good decomposter.
Okay, now a very important question. How often do you use fertilizer for your plants? Forget about indoor plants. We are talking about general plants. How often do you fertilize? Do you fertilize during winter? How often do you fertilize during winter if you do?
Winter, I don't fertilize. I finish all my fertilization in summer. Okay. Normally, what I would have done is by March, I would have given every plant in the garden a thorough digging around the roots, cut out all the dead stuff, and I've given it a nice. I would have made a big pile of compost, added manure to it, okay, and made a nice dry compost. The compost should be dry. It should be decomposed, is what I'm trying to get across. Do not use wet manure. You'll be asking for trouble, okay? So all these are cardinal rules of gardening. I think most of you will be doing it, but I cannot stress enough about the importance of using dry, decomposed, manure, compost, whatever fertilizer you're using.
One question from me, meaning I haven't tried composting, but you say put a layer of veggies or whatever, your skins, and then you put soil on it, is it?
Yeah, soil, this soil, any
and
soil.
And then
any
the next day you put a little bit of whatever else is wasted.
Yeah.
And then you put soil.
Yeah. The
Now,
soil
won't the veggies give out some sort of a liquid and some sogginess? No?
It will, but it dries up with time. We live in a hot place, Jeff. It dries up in no time.
Okay. So your bin is covered? Your bin is covered or your bin is open?
My pit is open. Mine is an open pit, but then I keep covering it.
Okay.
So,
and Uma wants to know if jaggery will attract ants. Uma?
It does. It does.
Will jaggery attract ants?
So the trick for that is you add a lot of neem leaves into your pit.
Now see, that's your secret. You did not tell us. Just like the box that you carry when you travel.
You can.
Okay, guys, she adds neem leaves.
You can try the natural way. There's this plant called Irkampu. Have you seen it? You'll use it quite often. It's a wild plant that grows wild on the sides of the road. See, when you see the Irkampu, get a few leaves, drop it in your pit. It drives away most of the ants, most of the bugs. Okay.
Oh, I see.
So
that's lovely. See, there are so many tips that we don't really know, but unless we talk to specialists like these, doctors, do we get so much more information. Mala, we are having a problem with your connection. It's sort of freezing. So
yeah,
I think
can I also put in about put in about the compost, Jeffrey, because you are.
Yeah, 1 minute, Sushila. Let me just finish with Mala. I think she has something to say. Tell me, Mala. Mala, you were saying something.
Yeah, you were saying, Jeff, I couldn't get that. Yeah, so you can add sawdust from the carpenter's place. You can add leaf mold. You can add any amount of leaf. The more the merrier. Dry, wet, anything will do. Branches, twigs, and the only thing I avoid is food. So everything goes into the compost pit. And keep closing it with sand until the pit is full. See,
Irkampu and leaves are poisonous.
That's why the ants don't come, right? But Irkampu is a very good fertilizer. Irkampu will kill all your bugs. So as you're composting, you're also getting your bugs off your plants. When you're compost, you have lesser mealybugs, you have lesser other problems.
Wow, look at that. Uma, thanks to you for bringing out that point. Irkampu and leaves are poisonous. Amazing. Amazing session. Anything else on fertilizer? Fertilizer?
Yeah, so you should fertilize. Houseplants cannot survive without fertilizing because their nutrition value in the small pot is very less. Like bonsai pots, they have very little space. So you have to fertilize. You can choose your method of fertilizing is what I was wanting to say. You can do it chemically, of course, and that is a lot of, but it is cheaper and it is faster. If you want a fast result, go for that. But if you can afford to wait, do it the easy and the ecological way, is what I suggest.
Yeah, I suppose if you're doing general fertilizing, then it's okay to go the natural way. But if you have a real big problem like with your millibugs and you have to get rid of it, it's losing the plant.
Yeah.
You will go chemical and save the plant.
Yeah.
That's what you're trying to say, Mala, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. That's
So
what I'm
basically,
saying. I'd rather save
yeah.
the plant. I wouldn't want to lose it. Lot of people
Sushila,
would
you'd
beg to
like to
differ,
come in
but I
there?
would never like to lose a plant. That's
Jeffrey, you're asking
Yes,
about the
yes,
composting.
yes.
Just two lines. See, another way of composting.
Sushila.
Malas is also is alternating green leaves. You take a drum, put one layer of green leaves, one layer of dried leaves, and then put a very small layer of soil. And you can add I add the rice, leftover rice, and all those no non-veg items. And then you can pour.
But won't the rice ferment?
That's what. Listen, and then you pour a layer of diluted cow dung. Very, very diluted cow dung.
Ah.
If you don't get cow dung, you can use buttermilk. Nalla pulicha thair, very, very sour buttermilk. Pour it, and you know how is everything get fermented? The fermentation is taking place, and in the process, all these.
Taira, mora. You said
more,
taira.
more, not tight.
More.
So everything is getting fermented.
Okay.
In the fermentation process, it generates lot of heat. Your compost will be producing lot of heat, and at the same time you have to leave 2 or 3 holes at the bottom so that the liquid generated should drain out. So the it should drain out. It should drain out. Otherwise, the whole thing will be a messy affair.
That's another secret.
So you keep on filling the tub each day and leave it like that, layering, and for about a month. And you keep on pouring buttermilk or diluted cow dung, or you get chemicals also to ferment, which you don't have to go in the not chemical. In some of the shops, you know, where they don't sell chemical, you get some sort of a agent that will aid the fermentation process. So everything will get fermented, and ultimately at the end of 2 or 3.
How often do you pour?
Once in 2 weeks. Once in 2 weeks. Hello? Once in 2 weeks.
You got to stir it also. You got to keep stirring.
Yeah.
It, not
Once in 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks. So at the end of 2 months or 3 months, you will get a black mass, and it is called black gold. It is called black gold. That is excellent.
Okay.
And you know, how do they make vermicompost? Vermicompost, this black gold they take out and put earthworms into it to make it even richer. But you know, my personal experience, and in bonsai, we don't use vermicompost because vermicompost has got X of worms, earthworms. The earthworms eat the sand and they excrete the sand. And when they excrete so much sand, the soil becomes acidic. And acidic soil is not good for so many plants. So to solve that problem, don't go for earthworms. You just take your black gold and put it in the plant. It is excellent for any of the plants, even the plants growing in the ground or in the pots or inside, anywhere. It is good.
Lovely. Super. Thanks for that insight. Radhika says, do we have to churn open pits too? See, she's not talking about
you do. You have one churn.
She's talking about an open pit there too?
Not every day.
You do.
Not every day. Once in
Not every day.
10 days. No.
Once in 10 days, you got to stir it. Once in 10 days, you got to stir it. See, what is down will come up and the process.
Okay,
the
Radhika, I
microorganisms
can imagine Radhika putting on boots and standing in her pit and stamping them, okay? Like they do for wine. Okay, that's going to be a lovely picture to see. We can trim or pruning plants, then only grow bushy and healthy. Yes. Trimming, you have to trim your plants so that they get bushy and they get healthy. Amazing. Okay, now most important and just something to leave in their minds before we all go away. We are talking about what type of plants not to bring in. Okay, not to bring in. See, dump-canes positively are not safe for children. They are not safe for dogs as well, or cats, right? They are poisonous. And quite a few.
The Dieffenbachia. Dieffenbachia is poisonous.
Dieffenbachia, but pothos is also dangerous.
Yeah, pothos. Yeah.
Jeff. Pothos
Which one?
and sansevieria are dangerous.
Pothos
Money
is
plant.
money plant. Money plant
Make
is
it
also
easy.
banned.
Money plant.
Photos.
Yeah, money plant is toxic. So also is philodendrons.
Oh my God. Then what is safe?
All your philodendrons are toxic.
So what is safe? What can we bring into the house then? If we have toddlers and if they are going to be biting
Spider plants
because they bite whatever they see, what can we bring in?
Yeah. You can bring your spider plant, no problem. You can bring all your ficus, no problem. Okay, they have a sap, but then they're not poisonous. And then you can bring your
Palms.
staghorn ferns.
Palms,
Yeah.
dracaenas
Your
are
cast
safe.
iron plant is fine.
Ferns.
Dracena,
Yeah, your peace,
Dracena.
Dracena is fine.
Dracaenas.
Your
Okay.
proteins are fine.
Okay. Now
most of
this
your
is
plants are
very important. Now, as we are encouraging people to bring plants into their homes, we must also tell them what not to bring in. So we will be posting the names and ladies, can you give us names that we understand? Because some names are going not into my pocket, they are going over my head also.
Okay, I'll give you the
Like pothos means money plant. So let's be a little simple and tell us what not to bring in. And even a picture also of those plants will be really helpful. Okay,
I'll do that tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah, please. I'm sure we'll be flooded with mala tomorrow. Lovely. Looking forward to that. Anyway, anyone else would like to come in? Will Uma want to say anything, because you've been quiet for so long, but I can see you very busy on your messaging with others. Thank you for being so helpful. Uma, would you like to say anything? To close?
Photos.
That's a pothos. That's a marble.
Yes. Yeah.
This is philodendron.
What is that?
Philodendron. I told you it's a poisonous plant.
Philodendron. That's a light green one. Oh yes,
Yeah,
it adds
yeah.
a lot of color. Yeah. So would you like to say anything, Uma? Closing?
18 varieties of Dieffenbachia variety, but earlier I kept inside the house, but nowadays people are telling very poisonous, so I keep outside. But still I have many parts, just backyard I'm growing 18 varieties of this Dieffenbachia. But still I am fond of that plant.
Okay. Let us be very clear about when we say poisonous, we are talking about if you go and pluck and eat it, right? Only then it's poisonous. If it's going to be at the side of me and if I'm sitting
Only
at the
then,
side of
only
it, nothing is going to happen. It's not going to hurt me, right?
Nothing
Correct,
is going to.
Uma? Abhidhana?
100% அப்படிதான்.
Abhidhana. So abhiya vechikalam.
You're
So
good
what
as
we
long
are
as-
saying, so what we are saying is, don't go around munching things, don't go around tasting things, and if you have babies, then you have to be careful. If they are not attended, you have to be very careful about what plants to bring in and what not to bring in. So we'll put it on the group tomorrow
What to bring.
with the pictures also. That will be really helpful. Are we okay?
Okay.
Super. Uma, finishing note from you.
Okay.
Yes, actually all grow plants, grow indoor plants, get good oxygen through the plants, stay safe and healthy. Thank you.
Oh, yes.
Super. Thank you so much. And from my side, I think I've been really so grateful to you, Uma, for coming in and sharing so much with us. Uma is
Thank
quite a
you.
personality. You can check her out, Uma Jayaraman. She's been on TV and all that, but she's a very humble, beautiful soul. Thank you so much for coming on. Mala, finishing note from you.
Yeah, and I'd like all of you to, I hope all of you enjoyed the program, and then feel free to ping me tomorrow and ask me if you have any doubt, and I shall post you all the toxic plants as soon as I get the pictures on. And it was wonderful talking to all of you. Stay safe, stay happy, and happy gardening.
Lovely. And Sushila, thank you so much, Mala.
Yeah, it is nice meeting all of you online, and nice meeting you, Jeffrey. I've heard so much about you. You are such a wonderful person. Really impressed by your the way you
Thank
connect.
you. Very touched, very touched. We
And,
know,
have-
I know Sushila for a very, very long time. She used to come to O2 Mumbakkam. And only today, once we
yes.
saw each other, we connected. It's always beautiful. We don't see each other's
Yeah.
faces. We only hear. So thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I'd just
Okay,
like to
so
thank the
it
panel
is very
once more for being
interesting,
so-
and
so
I'm
sweet, so
happy that
humble.
I could. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So hope
Thank you so
to
much. And over to
attend
you,
more.
Preeti.
Jeff, I'd like you to see this ad plant. I wanted to show you this.
Oh, that's
Who's
lovely.
this?
This is Mala.
This
and
is
she's
ad
air
plant.
plant.
It's an ad plant, okay? It doesn't require soil, doesn't require anything. You just keep it, it'll grow.
Oh, wow. That looks very dragon-like.
This is called a xerophyte air plant.
Air plant. Beautiful. Beautiful.
So
All
So
your-
Jeffrey, I'm taking my leave. So looking forward to more interest.
I think they are just left to grow on their own.
Yeah, looking forward to more
Lovely.
interesting sessions, Jeffrey. Thank you very much. Thank you, Nina. Thank you all the panels. Okay, bye.
This has been such a marathon session, and everyone
Yeah.
has been on for the 90 minutes. I must say, Jeffrey, rocking. Thank you so much for putting this
Yeah.
thing together and curating it so well and so enthusiastically. We really felt it. All our members are here. On behalf of Green Goddess, we'd like to thank each one of you. Jeffrey, thank you so much. You are our garden guru, you know that, Green God, and Uma Jayaraman, Mala Dhanasekaran, and Sushila Varghese. Thank you so much for the wealth of information that each of you have shared with us. Each topic requires a session on its own, which we will be coming up soon on our Green Club. So thank you so much, Nandri. Really,
Nandri,
really
vanakkam.
looking forward.
Thank you.
Everyone
And,
be
I'd like
safe.
to say that this is our second year of the Green Goddess and first year of our Green Club. So that's really, really amazing. Looking forward to the Green Awards, which will be coming up very shortly. And also, talking in the group is such a fun, interesting, and very productive group. Very positive and full of fun. So Jeff, Uma, and Mala, thank you so much. We are
Thank
really
you.
appreciative from
Thank you.
all of us from Green Club and the Green Goddess. Thank you. Stay safe. Nandri Vanakkam.
Vanakkam.